Robert Diego Dalot could be on his way out of Manchester United with a potential move to Real Madrid being rumoured again. In this video, we'll be going through all the latest news, the likelihood of that deal happening, and much, much more. So don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new, and let's get into it now. This is what has come out. Real Madrid are reportedly monitoring Diogo Dalot. Manchester United are aware and discussing his long-term future internally. Jason Wilcox may consider a sale if the right offer comes. Now, this is then what's come out from Andy Mitten. Manchester United have no plans to sell Dalot, but do not think there would be a shortage of suitors. In fact, the club are of the opinion he would be one of their most in-demand players, partially because he's consistent, picks up few yellow cards, and because of the attributes listed above. United also feel he is a confidence player, someone who needs the support of the fans. He's playing out of position in an inconsistent team ready to rebuild. So, listen, Real Madrid, they have been linked to Dalot quite a few times, to be honest. And this is what's kind of been said from one side, from Team Talk, Graham Bailey. Real Madrid are interested in the 2026 deal for Manchester United defender Diogo Dalot. Sources telling Team Talk that the Red Devils director of football Jason Wilcox is considering selling the Portuguese international. We can confirm Dalot's long-term future is being discussed internally as the club being aware of possible interest made in the Portuguese international. Sources have told us that Real Madrid have a long-term interest in Dalot despite signing Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Dani Carvajal is not getting any younger, and Dalot's versatility to play as a right back, right wing back, and left wing back is an appealing factor to the Spanish and European giants. Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich are also fans of the 26-year-old. While Wilcox and the staff are happy that he's doing well, there's also aware that the former FC Porto player's next deal would require a bit of a pay rise, so ideally there are internal early discussions about his exit. Dalot's current deals run to 2028 with a 1-year option, but his people have approached United about opening talks in 2026. United are now assessing whether they should be keeping Dalot long term and if they are ready to move on from him, possibly as soon as next summer. So, listen, I think Dalot, he's certainly one who, again, he is a valuable player that Manchester United can definitely get money for. And I think if we're being realistic, is Dalot a good enough player to be in this team? Probably not. And I think in terms of his position going forward, it's not guaranteed in this team. Yes, obviously he's playing at left wing back quite a bit now. But is he a sort of player going forward that you would want in this Manchester United team? I think at best he's probably a squad player. One thing that you can say about Dalot, he's consistently available. He puts 110% effort in, which again for some players has not been the case. He's someone who, again, versatility. I think Dalot would actually operate very well as a right centre back, but obviously we have Masraoui there already, and I think we've only seen him play there a bunch of times. But I think he does have the quality to play there. And I think you look at Dalot's assets. Obviously, he has a good relationship with Ruben Amorim. Apparently, they are related. But I think Dalot is definitely proven to be a decent player. And listen, that one season under Ten Hag, I think it was 23-24 season where he was absolutely fantastic. And that's where the initial Real Madrid talk started. Now again, Real Madrid, they've obviously signed Trent. They've got Dani Carvajal, who I think is probably on his way out of Real Madrid, if I'm being honest. But he's a top player anyway. But Dalot can again go into Real Madrid. Would probably be a dream move for him. Now he's probably somebody who wants to stay at United. He's a very ambitious player. He's still a young player, 26 years of age. But again, if he was to kind of stay at United long term, again, they would have to negotiate a pay rise. And the fact that this has come out, I mean, Dalot to Madrid, I'm sure, as we've seen with Trent and a lot of other players, the likes of Bellingham, Mbappe, Ronaldo all those years back, Benzema, all these sorts of players, the list goes on. Real Madrid is the dream club for a lot of players. So depending on whether Real Madrid do actually come in for Dalot, I mean, again, it depends whether how much he wants to stay at Manchester United rather than going to Real Madrid. Now, what I would say personally on Dalot, a great character. I've seen him a few times in and around Old Trafford, and again, he's someone who has a lot of time for the fans. He'll be one of the first to arrive to sign autographs, and all that stuff. And he's a great person to chat to. But in terms of a football player on the pitch, is he good enough going forward long term for United? I don't think so. And again, I remember a couple of years back when it was Dalot v Wan-Bissaka. Ultimately, Dalot won that by staying at United, and we inevitably sold Wan-Bissaka. But I think in terms of my overall opinion, I'd certainly look at getting him rid, and that's something that Wilcox and Co will be looking at in terms of his long term pay at the club as well. If I had to predict what he's on at Manchester United, I'd probably say 115, which again is a lot of money for a player like Dalot. But yeah, again, he's still got a few years left on his deal. Again, Andy Mittens talked about how someone who is actually not on his way out of Manchester United. He's someone who is actually quite rated by Ruben Amorim, and you can tell by the amount of minutes and the consistency and the quality that he has. But again, he will not be in shortage of suitors. A lot of clubs are interested in him. Atletico Madrid, Bayern have also been talked about. Now, if you look at Dalot, he is actually on, well, according to Capology, he is on 85,000, which again is less than I thought, to be fair. £85,000 a week. Look at some players that are on more than him: Xerxes, Yoro, Martinez, Diallo, Ugarte, Mazraoui, Shaw, Mount, and Burmo. Obviously, the list goes on, but he's not one of the highest players at United. But again, with the new contract talks with his agent, he would want a higher pay rise. The fact that he's been at the club now, well, this is 7th or 8th season. He's played over 200 games for Manchester United. He would look at wanting a pay rise. But for me, I think if you look at that wing back position, DIOGO, Dalot are the main left wing backs at the moment, and Ahmad is your main right wing back. And I think going forward, obviously with AFCON, nothing will happen in January. But looking in the summer window, I think we do need a lot more quality in that wing back position. I think DIOGO, he's still a work in progress, still a relatively young player with a lot of work to and a lot of way to improve. You look at Dalot, I don't think he's a left wing back at all. He's had some good performances there: goal against West Ham, assist against Wolves. But long term, is he a good player there? No. And right wing back, is he the sort of player that you want in an Amorim system? I don't think so. So again, for me, it'd be sad to see Dalot leave. I think he's been a great servant to the club, an ultimate professional. I think if we are being ruthless, Dalot should probably be one of those players who does leave United now. He's not one of the immediate players that I think should leave. I think there are other priority positions to solve and other players that should leave. For example, I think Ugarte should go before Dalot. I think potentially Casemiro should go before Dalot. Again, you got still Rashford. Again, see what happens when he comes back. You got Sancho still at the club. So I don't think Dalot is a huge sort of problem at the moment. But again, going into next season, I think we do need wing backs who are actually fit to play that system. I think Dalot isn't. I think Ahmad is the only one really that we have, and DIOGO doesn't seem to be rated there. But I think as long as Amorim's at United, I think Dalot will still be here. But again, I think it's an interesting conversation to have about Dalot going forward, because he isn't the ideal player for me. But again, he's a great professional and someone who turns up every game and is consistent. But let me know your thoughts. Again, there isn't any rush on Dalot leaving, but I just seen some reports and I thought I'd talk about Dalot potentially going to Real Madrid. Again, Carvajal, Alexander-Arnold there, they're playing Valverde there at the moment. I think if Dalot was to go there, they've got versatility. I mean, the fact that they've got Alvaro Fernandez or Alvaro Carreras from United is unreal, because he is a real top talent. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Dalot. But that's been the latest.